Today we're making the strawberry version of my Tres Leches cake. I wasn't sure whether to do another Tres Leches cake, but so many of you guys wanted to see the strawberry milk version, so I just had to make it for you guys. It's a moist strawberry cake soaked in strawberry milk and topped with strawberry whipped cream. It's creamy and delicious, and it's packed with strawberry flavor.
So like any sponge cake, we're going to start by whipping the eggs, in this case egg whites, with some lemon juice or vinegar to stabilize them, but we'll get to those in just a moment. Because we're making a strawberry sponge cake today, our sugar is going to come from two sources: regular sugar and strawberry jam, which is the best way to incorporate lots of strawberry flavor into this cake because the flavor in jam is so concentrated. You have two options here. You can either make the jam yourself using fresh strawberries. Homemade jam is amazing. I'll leave my tutorial for that in the description box. Or if you want a shortcut, you can use store-bought jam. Just make sure it's good quality and flavorful. You're going to whip up the egg whites, and once they start to become foamy and incorporate air, you can gradually start adding the sugar, 1 tablespoon at a time. The sugar will give structure to the egg whites and strengthen our meringue. Once that's mixed in, you can start adding the jam, again 1 tablespoon at a time. My jam is quite loose because it's homemade. If your jam is thicker than mine, you can microwave it for 20 seconds to loosen it. If you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe and click that bell. I post new videos every week. Make sure you get every bit of that jam into your meringue. You don't want to leave any behind. And once the meringue reaches stiff peaks, it's ready. I'm going to add 2 drops of red food coloring. This is optional. However, I really wanted this cake to stand out today. Set the meringue to the side, and in this other bowl, I'm going to add the milk, the melted butter, and the dry ingredients. As you can see, this cake batter contains no egg yolks. This was intentional because egg yolks sometimes dull the color of food coloring, so that's why I opted for just the whites. Again, optional, you can add 1 or 2 drops of red food coloring. If you're using a good quality gel food coloring, you'll only need a few drops to get a vibrant red. Don't overmix this mixture. You never want to overmix the dry ingredients. As soon as the flour is incorporated, you can add 3 to 4 big dollops of the meringue to this batter to lighten and loosen it. You can be quite rough with these first dollops. However, you do want to be careful when folding in the rest of your meringue so this mixture doesn't lose too much air. We're really relying on those egg whites to give lift to this cake. You're going to pour this batter into your cake pan, buttered, floured, and lined with parchment paper, and you're going to bake this cake in a preheated oven at 160 degrees Celsius or 320 Fahrenheit for around 30 to 35 minutes. Do the toothpick test. If it comes out clean, the cake is ready. As you can see, this cake is quite big because of those egg whites, but as it cools, it will start to deflate. Do not let the cake cool in its pan. Allow for it to cool slightly, but then you want to turn it over onto a rack and let it cool completely. If you have some caramelization, you can remove it. However, this isn't really necessary. Okay, so moving on, we're going to make the strawberry milk mixture, which is so amazing, guys. You'll want to drink this and eat the cake separately, but try to resist because this is what is going to give the cake excellent and bold strawberry flavor. I have my 3 milks here, and to one of them, I'm going to again add the strawberry jam. You can use straight up strawberry milk. However, I do find that very artificial tasting, so I do prefer to make it this way. And by doing it this way, you can also add as much jam as you want, depending if you want a subtle or bold strawberry flavor. You can also use fresh blended strawberries. Just keep in mind it won't be as flavorful as using jam. Give these a good mix and the milk bath is ready. Okay, so put the cooled cake back in its pan. I do like to leave the parchment paper, that way it's easy to take out and transfer. And using a fork or a toothpick, you're going to poke lots of holes into this cake. Pour your milk bath all over the cake, and you're going to let this cake sit in the fridge for at least an hour. It's going to soak up the milk. And then, I said this in my previous Tres Leches cake videos, depending on your texture preference, you can either remove the cake from the pan or serve it directly in the pan with the excess milk. This is completely up to you. Okay, so in the same measuring cup that we used before for the milk bath, we're going to make the strawberry whipped cream, which regardless if you're making this cake or not, guys, strawberry whipped cream is something you need to try at least once in your lifetime. It's that good. Okay, so you guessed it. To our heavy cream, we're going to add the strawberry jam. This stuff is amazing, especially if it's homemade, and it's so versatile. You can use it for so many things. Whip the cream to stiff peaks, and you're going to cover the cake entirely with this delicious cream. If you want to add some strawberries on top or an additional drizzle of that strawberry jam, that would be delicious. Smooth the top with a bench scraper or spatula, and I do like to trim the sides just for prettier presentation, but if you're serving this cake directly in its pan, obviously it's not necessary. Now let's talk for a moment. When I was a kid, I loved flavored milks, and strawberry milk was one of my favorites. This cake is very nostalgic. It tastes like straight up strawberry milk. It's delicious and moist and very much different than traditional strawberry cakes. If you love strawberry milk, you need to make this cake.